Is there anything happening between you and Lana?
No.
If you ever cross that line, the bond will break beyond repair.
I did not know a bond could starve you while keeping you alive. That is how it felt to be mated to Damon. The night I finally understood this, the moon hung low and pale above our pack lands. Its light touched my skin, but I felt nothing warm in it. I stood at the edge of our den and realized I had been holding my breath for years, waiting for a love that never came. Damon stood beside me, strong, respected, admired by the pack. To everyone else, he was the right wolf. To me, he had always felt distant, as if our bond connected bodies, but not hearts. I used to believe love was proven through endurance, through patience, through sacrifice. I gave Damon all three. I gave him my loyalty, my strength, my time, and my silence. I believed if I tried harder, if I stayed softer, he would finally choose me in the way a mate should. I was wrong. Some wolves are not cruel. They are simply empty, where love should live. And when you are bound to one, you learn how lonely a shared life can be. This is the story of how I survived being unloved by the wrong wolf, and how I was finally chosen by my true mate. Before we continue, let me welcome you. If you believe in second chances, healing love, and stories where a woman chooses her peace before romance, then you are in the right place. And if you are watching this without subscribing, I want you to pause for a moment. Stories like this take time, care, and heart to tell. Subscribing costs nothing, but it means everything to creators who show up for you. If you have ever stayed to the end of a story and felt seen, then you already know you should subscribe. Do not wait until the story is over. Do it now. I was born into the North Ridge Pack, a quiet territory ruled by old laws and older expectations. My name is Mora. From the time I shifted for the first time, everyone said I would make a good mate. Not a powerful one, not a fierce one, just good, calm, steady, reliable, the kind of she-wolf meant to support an alpha, not challenge him. Damon noticed me when I was still young. He was already rising within the pack then, confident, charismatic, always surrounded by others. When he chose me, I believed it was fate. Our bond snapped into place quickly, strong, and unmistakable. The elders celebrated. My family cried with pride. I told myself the quiet inside our bond was normal. Not all love burned. Some settled. I ignored how rarely he touched me unless others were watching. I ignored how his praise came only when I was useful. I ignored how I paid for pack needs Damon could not cover, how my strength fed his standing. I told myself this was partnership. We kept our lives organized, but separate. Separate duties, separate coin, separate emotional spaces. Damon said it kept things simple. I believed him. When debts grew because of his failed ventures, I carried the weight. I worked longer hours. I drew from family support. I told myself mates lift each other. Then my work took me farther from the den. I began staying with my parents most nights to shorten the journey. Damon stayed behind, running his operations from our land. He said he understood. He said we were strong enough for distance. That was when Lana entered our lives. Lana was younger, newly shifted, eager to prove herself. She had helped Damon during busy seasons before. He spoke of her like a younger sister. She laughed at his jokes, looked at him with admiration. I felt uneasy, but I trusted the bond. I trusted the rules Damon and I had set for ourselves. No one from the pack. No secrets. No betrayal. When Lana began staying overnight in our guest room, I told myself I was imagining things. When the scent of her lingered in spaces meant for me, I told myself wolves share space. When my chest tightened without reason, I told myself I was tired. Eventually, I asked Damon directly if anything was happening between them. He said no. I chose to believe him. I told him if he ever crossed that line, the bond would break beyond repair. He asked questions that felt strange then. What if he had? What if he did not want to stop? I answered honestly. I said I would leave. That night, I slept like a wolf who trusts her den. I woke to Damon, sitting at the foot of the bed, his face wet with tears. He said it was time to tell the truth. He said he and Lana had been together for weeks. In my home, in my space, in my bed. He said she made him feel strong again. Wanted. Seen. I felt the bond crack. Not shatter. Crack. Like ice under slow pressure. I told him to choose. Me or her. The bond or desire. He asked for time. I gave it. That was my final mistake. The next morning, he said he chose me. By evening, he had spoken to his family. By nightfall, he told me he wanted the bond dissolved. He said he was afraid to give me hope. I told him hope was my choice. He said his decision was final. I tried to slow the fall. I asked for counsel, for healing, for guidance. Damon refused. He avoided me as if my presence reminded him of something he did not want to face. During those weeks, something changed inside me. I imagined a life without Damon. A quiet life. A life without constant waiting. And for the first time in years, my chest felt lighter. When the bond was officially severed, I did not scream. I did not beg. I packed my things. I left with nothing but my name and my breath. I gave up claims to shared debts, shared land, shared history. Freedom was worth more than compensation. The pack whispered. Some blamed me. Some pitied me. Damon told others the betrayal was not the reason for the separation. I let him speak. Time reveals truth better than arguments ever do. I lived alone after that. Not lonely. Alone. There is a difference wolves understand deeply. I told myself I would not look for love again. I would rebuild. I would heal. I would become whole without needing to be chosen. Then Jace called. Jace was from my past, from a different territory, a different time. We had never bonded, but the pull between us had always been undeniable. We parted years ago by choice, not failure. Life took us in different directions, but respect remained. When he learned I was no longer mated, he asked to see me. When our eyes met across the distance, something ancient stirred. Not urgency, not hunger, recognition. He apologized for letting me go. He told me he had searched for me in every phase since. I told him the truth, that even when I was bonded to another, I knew what kindness felt like because of him. We spoke every day after that. Slowly, carefully. No promises. No pressure. The bond that formed between us was not forced by fate. It was built by choice. And for the first time, a wolf chose me not because I was useful or steady or safe, but because he loved me. After the bond with Damon was severed, silence became my closest companion. Not the painful kind, the honest kind. I woke without tension in my chest. I slept without bracing for rejection. The packlands no longer felt like a cage. I moved to a smaller territory near my parents and focused on rebuilding my life piece by piece. Healing did not arrive all at once. Some days I felt steady. Other days, the memories returned without warning. I remembered how often I had waited for Damon to notice me, how I had measured my worth by his attention. I began to understand that love should not require proof of survival. Jace remained present through it all. Not loud, not demanding. He called when he said he would. He listened more than he spoke. When I told him about the bond severance, he did not celebrate. He respected the gravity of what I had lost, even if it had been broken. Our connection deepened through conversations that felt simple and true. We spoke about our lives, our failures, our fears. Jace told me he had stayed unattached for years, not because he could not bond, but because nothing felt right after me. I did not feel flattered by this. I felt seen. Distance separated us, but it did not weaken what was growing. If anything, it allowed us to move slowly. There was no rush to claim, no pressure to define. I needed that space. Jace understood without explanation. As weeks passed, I began to feel stronger in ways I had forgotten were possible. I paid down the debts Damon had left behind. Each payment felt like reclaiming a part of myself. Jace offered to help more than once. I refused. This was my journey. I needed to know I could stand alone before choosing to stand beside someone. The pack noticed my change. Mora, an elder I trusted, visited one evening. She studied me quietly before speaking. She told me surviving a broken bond often revealed a wolf's true strength. She said some bonds fail, not because the wolves are weak, but because they are mismatched. Her words settled something inside me that had been restless. Then Damon returned. He appeared at the edge of my territory without warning. He looked thinner, tired. The confidence he once carried so easily no longer clung to him. He spoke about regret, about mistakes, about time. He said he had underestimated what he lost. I listened without anger, without hope. When he asked if there was still a chance, I felt no pull, no ache, no longing. The bond was gone, and so was the version of me who would have begged him to stay. I told him I wished him peace, but I would not walk backward into pain. After he left, I called Jace. I did not tell him right away what had happened. He did not push. When I finally spoke, he listened. Then he said something simple that stayed with me. He said love should never arrive as a threat. Months passed. Jace and I planned a visit. When I finally stood before him again, the air between us changed. The pull was unmistakable, stronger than memory, stronger than fear. This was not the sharp snap of a forced bond. It was deep, steady, alive. We walked together beneath the moon. When his hand brushed mine, energy surged through me. Not possession, recognition. The bond did not claim us. We chose it. Jace told me he would never ask me to shrink for him, that he wanted a partner, not a supporter, that he did not need me to save him. He wanted to walk with me. For the first time, I believed love could be calm and powerful at once. When the bond formed, it did not break me open. It settled into place like something long missing finally returning home. The bond with Jace did not change my life overnight. It did something quieter. It made my days feel honest. I moved slowly, ending the distance between us with care. Leaving one territory for another is not just a change of land for a wolf. It is a choice of future. Jace never rushed me. He prepared space for me without assuming I would fill it. That alone told me more about him than any promise could. When I finally joined his territory, the pack welcomed me without judgment, not because of Jace's standing, but because he had spoken of me with respect long before I arrived. Mora came with me, helping me settle and reminding me that starting over does not erase the past. It reshapes it. The first full moon we shared as bonded mates was unlike anything I had known. There was no pain, no fear, no test to endure, just warmth, stability, the sense that I was not being consumed by the bond, but strengthened by it. Jace never tried to own my healing. He let me continue paying my debts, rebuilding my sense of control. He stood beside me, not in front of me. When doubts surfaced, he did not dismiss them. He listened. He stayed. Sometimes memories of Damon returned, not with anger, but with clarity. I saw now how much I had mistaken endurance for love, how often I had tried to earn affection that should have been freely given. The bond with Damon had taught me what neglect feels like. The bond with Jace taught me what care truly is. Years later, news reached us that Damon had left the pack. Lana had moved on. The life he once dismissed no longer waited for him. I felt no satisfaction in this, only distance. Some lessons arrived too late to be shared. Jace and I married beneath a quiet sky, surrounded by wolves who understood that love does not have to be loud to be powerful. When he chose me, it was not as a replacement or a rescue or a second option. It was as a partner, an equal, a woman who had already learned to stand on her own. I am no longer the wolf who waits to be chosen. I am the wolf who knows her worth. And in knowing it, I found the one who always did.